and welcome. This is Head to Head on UATV and I'm Olga Yurkova. Today we're talking about the TED conference, where people who are in search for motivation gather annually to push for change and share knowledge and experience. This year, as always, the conference was held in Vancouver, Canada, and for the first time, a Ukrainian was invited to give a speech and deliver her idea to TED's massive global audience. We are lucky enough to have her in our studio today. Joining us is Olga Yurkova, co-founder of StopFake project. Hello and thank you for coming.
Hello. Thank you.
Ms. Yurkova, it is written on BBC that you opened the conference with your speech. Is it true?
Not exactly, because TED Fellow program opened the conference, not exactly my speech. I was fifth.
You were fifth
Yes.
to perform your speech, okay. Yeah, because there were more than 100 speakers, as far as I understand, so that would be really stressful to start, probably, to be the first one to perform.
But I think it was more stressful to be the last. Because,
to be the last one,
yes.
because the expectations were too high.
Yeah. But I performed my talk and then enjoyed that conference.
Yeah. Well, chiefly you focused in your speech on the fact that, quote, Ukraine has been subject to Russian propaganda for 4 years and now fake news is happening all over the world.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about your message, please?
My most message was that fake news and propaganda itself is a threat for democracy and society as a whole, because...
Especially nowadays.
Yes, because fake news and propaganda ruin trust.
Mm-hmm.
And our society functions on trust. Trust in our institutions, in our leaders, in our news outlets, etc., etc. And that's why fake news is a threat for democracy.
Okay, I understand.
And it was my main message. Yeah.
But according to rules of speaking publicly, usually a speaker selects some powerful story to start with. What was your story?
Yes, I decided to start with a story of prominent fake news, and I asked my Facebook friends, Facebook audience about it. What the most blatant news did you hear all the
Throughout the time
yes,
since
yes,
2014, basically.
And the most of my friends said that it was a story about crucified boy in Slavyansk, in Donetsk region. Yes, and I started with this story, and my public speaking coach advised me to tell the story like it was true. And people decided, and people really believed in this.
And then you unveiled that, okay, guys,
and then I said, yes, this never happened in reality. And
so what was the reaction of the audience? Probably they were shocked on this. What reaction on faces did you see?
Yes, I saw some shock, and then people told me about that. Yes, we believed in this, and then it was really a shock for us that it's not true. And then I told the audience about our project, about StopFake, how it was started, and
it started in 2014, right? As a platform to confront Russian disinformation.
Yes, and how we struggle with Russian propaganda and fake news for 4 years, and about what we started as just platform for debunking fake news, but now we're informational hub. Our website is an informational hub which analyzes propaganda in all its manifestations. And we have 11 language versions. We have 9 million views.
Now it's not only about Ukraine. It's on the worldwide scale? Or news are mainly focused on Ukraine?
We are focused mostly on Ukraine, but we touch topics about Russian propaganda, how it works in other countries, because Ukraine was like a testing lab for Russian propaganda, and it uses the same messages in different countries, in Europe and in the USA, and that's why our experience is interesting for world audience.
For foreigners, what was the feedback from the audience, and did it meet your expectations?
I think it overmatched my expectation, because more than 200 people told with
after your speech they approached you
yes,
with
yes
some gratitude words.
During all the conference, people
were coming to talk to you.
Yes, people. We talked with I talked with different people, and they tried to know more about Ukraine, about propaganda, how it works, how can West struggle with this propaganda, what they must do to stop Putin. I think it was success.
And this is a very important message to deliver worldwide. And now I want to ask that among TED speakers, there has been even Bill Clinton, former US President, David Cameron, who used to serve as a British Prime Minister, right? Bill Gates, the second richest man on earth this year, according to Forbes, and Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and many Nobel Prize winners. How did you feel delivering such an important message about Ukraine struggling and always battling with Russian disinformation, using such a valuable and a popular platform as TED Talks, which was previously used by such important global figures?
Yes, I felt really excited and nervous.
Of course, I can only imagine.
As well, because it's really a great responsibility to deliver this message, to deliver it correctly. But I worked on my talk for 2 months with different coaches, with TED trainers, with TED team.
So they were teaching you how basically how to write the speech.
It was my work, but they helped me. They helped me to crystallize the idea.
So they were navigating.
Then your skills. To create the structure, to make it clear, and yes.
But usually the speakers are giving a maximum of 18 minutes to present their ideas. How much time were you giving, and who helped you prepare to speak basically to the whole world?
My talk was 4 minutes, because TED Fellows have only 4 minutes for their talk. I think it's more difficult than yes, because you should
you should deliver your message very shortly.
Yes, you should
focus on the main things.
You should be very focused. Yes, and
talk very precisely on your idea.
It was a challenge, but it's possible.
Well, I want to quote you right now, your speech. People no longer know what is real and what is fake, and a lot of people have stopped believing anything at all. This is even more dangerous. Probably you also meant much broader issue of belief. But speaking of media sources, how can facts be distinguished from fiction? How does the StopFake work, basically?
How to stop fakes in our everyday life?
Yes.
Do you mean this? Very simple. Google. Use Google to. I think you should check names, numbers, pictures. license plates, everything that can be checked. It doesn't take a lot of time. Sometimes it takes seconds, not even minutes. But I think it's the thing that all of us should do, because all of us are media, all of us have our audience in social media, for example. Some of us have smaller audience and some have bigger audience, but we have our audience. We are responsible for information we spread for this audience. And I would like to give a piece of advice, think twice before you
post something.
Yes.
Yeah. We should develop this feeling of responsibility in the social media as well, for sure. But what message did you choose to end your speech with?
I called people to think about trust, about why we lost trust in where and why we lost trust in our life, and what we do to rebuild this trust at our level. It can be on the level of all of us. It's a responsibility for information we post on Facebook, for example. At the top level of decision makers, policy makers, it's another kind of responsibility, and I tried to remind about this. About the fact that all of us are responsible for trust in our society, and trust in our society is a basis for democracy, and democracy depends on trust, and trust depends on fact checking, and facts.
Well, this is a perfect message to conclude our conversation with as well.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That was Olga Yurkova, co-founder of the StopFake project. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Olga Yurkova. Goodbye.